the President of the Congress, dear members of the Congress, dear observers and guests of the session, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, this session marks a mid-term of the Congress leadership. It is exactly 1 year ago that the Congress membership was renewed, and it is exactly 1 year since you have placed your trust in me, in the President of the Chambers, and in the members of the Congress Bureau and chairs of the committees to lead this Assembly. This is also the 25th session of the Congress, a landmark on the life path of the Congress which symbolically coincides with the 25th anniversary of the entry in force of the European Charter of Local Self-Government. I should add that this is the last session before the 20th anniversary of the Congress, which we will celebrate next year, 2014. If I were to take stock of this past year, I would describe it as a year of the advance of the Congress. Over these 12 months, we have firmly set this Assembly under the track of the targeted, both political and practical approach to our priorities, leading to concrete action on the ground. We are becoming the less theoretical and more practical, more professional, if you wish, in dealing with the problems and challenges we uncovered during our monitoring, election observation and thematic activities. First and foremost, we have seen further consolidation of the legal basis of the Congress work, the European Charter of Local Self-Government, which, as I have just said, entered into force 25 years ago this September. With the ratification of the Charter by San Marino last week and following its ratification by Monaco in January, all member states of the Council of Europe are now party to this key convention for local democracy. During this session, we will have a special ceremony, I told you, to celebrate this achievement. Furthermore, countries that have already ratified the Charter continue to review and accept the provisions that were left non-ratified at the beginning. This brings us closer to our goal of having a 100% Charter for 100% of the continent, with all of the Charter provisions applied on the entire Council of Europe territory. This would complete a common legal space of uniform standards for local democracy in Europe. On this legal basis, in addition to our political consultative work, we have reoriented Congress activities to rest on 3 pillars. First, to pursue our core activities and to improve procedures and effectiveness of our monitoring and election observation. Secondly, to develop post-monitoring and post-election observation dialogue with national governments, addressing the existing problems and helping with the implementation of our recommendations. And finally, when it is necessary, to develop cooperation activities based on the results of our monitoring and post-monitoring dialogue and focused on the priorities established by this committee and the mandate given by our member states to the Congress. We are doing this in a spirit of synergy with the intergovernmental sector of the Council of Europe. As I said, during my exchange with the Committee of Ministers last month to become more efficient, our focus today is on creating a virtuous cycle of monitoring, post-monitoring cooperation activities. In March, the Congress adopted its resolution on developing post-monitoring dialogue with Member States in order to improve the application of the European Charter of Local Self-Government through a working political partnership with national authorities. We are currently pursuing the post-monitoring dialogue with the authorities of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgia and Portugal, which serves to draw up a roadmap for the implementation of Congress recommendations. In March, we also had a meeting of this kind in Baku to work on our recommendations for Azerbaijan, and I trust that we can repeat this exercise to make our recommendations more effective. Further to post-monitoring dialogue, the Congress has pursued in cooperation activities to promote local governance and strengthen local elected representatives' role in political decision-making. Over the past year, the Congress has systematically contributed proposals to Council of Europe action plans for specific countries, such as for Ukraine and Armenia, as well as for Georgia, Azerbaijan and Moldova, which are being prepared. We have also launched our own cooperation programs in Albania, Armenia and Ukraine, and we are grateful to Member States, especially Denmark and Switzerland, for their voluntary contributions. As for thematic activities, our efforts for improving the situation of Roma have led to the launch of the European Alliance of Cities and Regions for Roma Inclusion in March this year, with 120 participating municipalities and regional entities. The Alliance has opened new perspectives of our concrete cooperation with the European Union, and an agreement was signed last September by the Council of Europe Deputy Secretary General and the European Commission for a new joint programme, ROMEC, to support the work of the Alliance. This joint programme represents a significant support for our activities in favour of Roma in Europe. The Congress is also taking an active part in the Council of Europe's 1 in 5 campaign, which is an excellent example of interinstitutional cooperation with the intergovernmental sector and the Parliamentary Assembly. Over the past year, we have launched a pact of towns and regions to stop sexual violence against children and on an online platform to showcase good local and regional practices. I can only use this opportunity to call on you once again to sign up for the pact and to join the Alliance for Roma Inclusion. These two activities, the action 1 in 5 and the Roma inclusion, are the sign that we want to implement the human rights on local and regional level. Ladies and gentlemen, the Congress continues to align its priority action with the rest of the organisation as a loyal and reliable partner that aids a political, local and regional dimension to the work of the Council of Europe. We have broadened and deepened our political dialogue both within the Council of Europe and with external partner institutions and Member States. Within the Council of Europe, I have had 2 exchanges of views with the Committee of Ministers over the past 12 months, and the Congress has made an active contribution to the activities of Committee of Ministers chairmanships. Our cooperation with the intergovernmental sector is also becoming stronger, as is our cooperation with the Parliamentary Assembly, which is reflected in particular in the joint declaration of the presidents of our two assemblies to be adopted during this session. Outside the Council of Europe, this dialogue has been pursued through numerous meetings with political leaders, senior government officials and parliament speakers of member states over the past year to discuss issues of common concern and possible joint action. However, I would not be honest if I did not point out that these accomplishments have taken place against the background of a worsening budgetary situation. As you know, the Congress has been called upon, along with other bodies of the Council of Europe, to make sacrifices in these trying economic times for member states. Our budget has been tangible reduced since 2010, as we were asked to contribute our share to the consolidation of the organisation and to do more with fewer resources. Proportionally, the Congress has made an even bigger contribution than other entities, and the impact of these budget cuts is beginning to be seriously felt. For example, monitoring missions had to be reduced by 27% this year, and election observation had to be limited to 3 per year, meaning that we had to decide to decline some invitations. Any additional cuts would endanger the work of the Congress and undermine its unique capacity to advance local and regional democracy in Europe. The Congress Bureau made this clear in its position paper submitted to the Committee of Ministers and its rapporteur group dealing with the budget, and I am grateful to the Congress Secretary General, Andreas Kiefer, for having represented this document just 10 days ago in the Ministers' representatives. Nevertheless, further reduction in our budget has again been proposed for the coming years, and this proposal is currently under discussion. We remain in constant dialogue with the Committee of Ministers and with the Council of Europe Secretary General to drive through the message that to succeed in our mission, we need adequate resources and a competent and sufficient secretariat working under the political authority of the Congress leadership. This is the very understanding of the European Charter of Local Self-Government. This dialogue continues, and we strongly hope that it will bear fruit. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I can only reiterate what I said at the last session in March. Never before has there been so much recognition of the importance of local and regional democracy and grassroots action in response to these challenges, giving us a truly historic opportunity to engage in concrete action together with national governments. Looking back on the past 12 months, I can say with confidence that we have a firm grip on this opportunity. It has been a highly productive and successful year, full of concrete results, and the Congress is increasingly becoming an institution that commands respect and generates interest as a cooperation partner. Let us join our efforts to make sure that this advance of this Congress continues firmly and steadily on the chosen course. Thank you very much. Now the debate is open. Please, I call Vittorio Broccoli from San Marino. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Dear colleagues, I'm Vittorio Broccoli, the full member of San Marino delegation. First of all, I would like to stress the importance of such moment. This year, we celebrate the full 47 countries' accession to the Charter. This session is very special for San Marino because it states a process started about 3 years ago. A great and efficient work has been done by San Marino authorities, permanent representation, the working group and the Secretariat of the Congress, which led to the signature last May and the ratification last week. This is an important goal for our country that opened the door to the reform on the law of the local authorities approved by our Parliament last month. San Marino is a small country and the local authorities have less power than other countries. Despite that, the local authorities have the important responsibility to interact with the citizen, to share ideas, to plan action for the social welfare. This reform recognises a greater direct involvement of local authorities in sharing projects relating to social and urban matters with the government, and a deeper responsibility in the management of financial resources. I am very glad for that goal, in which was very important the contribution of my colleagues of San Marino delegation, who are not here now, but I would like to say thank you. I also would like to say thank you to permanent representation of San Marino, Michela Bovi and Ambassador Barbara Pari, the President of Local Authorities FERCON, who came in San Marino, Stephanie Porel for her cooperation, and all people that offer a great support to San Marino. This afternoon, at the end of the sitting, I have the pleasure to invite you to the reception offered by permanent representation of San Marino, Andorra and Monaco. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your report and for your intervention, and thanks to San Marino what you have done by ratification of our charter. Now I have no speaker on the list. The debate on the communication of the President is now closed. Let us now move to the next item on our agenda,